Woken up by the phone. It was a call from Tong Zhen. Are you at home? Yes, I am. Wait for me. I'll be there in a bit. How long will it be? I'll come down to pick you up in advance. No need. I'll call you when I arrive. My head is very dizzy. How long did I sleep? Thinking back, when did I come back yesterday? I don't remember. I want to sleep a little longer, but never mind. I should get up. An hour later, she arrived, and I got dressed and went downstairs. Walking out of the apartment, I found a woman standing beside her. It was my mother. It's been more than 10 years since I last saw her, and although my mother's appearance has changed a lot, to the point of being almost unrecognizable, I recognized her at first glance. My mother doesn't live in the city, yet she brought her here. I was a bit angry and wanted to question her why she brought my mother here, but I didn't say it. I was stunned for a few seconds, planning to go back, but as soon as I turned around, my mother spoke. I'm sorry. I haven't taken good care of you over the years. I'm sorry. I stopped and turned around. Alright, so I'm a sucker for crying faces, so maybe she was just really afraid of her husband, right? So that's why she never stepped in. As far as I know, it's really common for situations like that to occur, and one of the parents being afraid of the other, right? So, and because of that, they just don't act. So this might be that case. It might not be. She might be pretending, but I guess we'll see what happens here. My mother slumped to the ground. What is this? Crocodile tears? I stood there motionless. Auntie, let me explain. Auntie, when did their relationship get so good? Never mind. Let's hear what she has to say. Back then, your parents were working together in another city, and after you were conceived unexpectedly, they planned to go home to get married. On the way back to their hometown, there was an accident, and your father died protecting your mother. Back at home, your father's family blamed your mother for your father's death and refused to accept her. Your mother originally wanted to abort you, but considering that you were the flesh and blood of your father, she decided to give birth to you. Because your parents were never married, you could only take your mother's surname. In the first few years, your mother lived with you at your grandmother's house, where your grandmother took care of you and your grandfather who had a stroke, while your mother went out to work during the day. Later, your grandmother had a sudden cerebral hemorrhage, and your mother had to take care of 3 people at the same time and couldn't work anymore. At that time, your mother thought about committing suicide with the whole family. In her despair, a man who had pursued your mother for many years contacted her again, and this man is your stepfather. Your stepfather always felt that he was raising someone else's son and couldn't accept it. She had seen how your stepfather has treated you over the years, but she had no choice, as the family's source of income depended on him. That is typical abusive relationship where one person controls all the assets and has all the power. Therefore, everyone else in the family must not stand up to said person. You said that your living expenses were cut off since high school, but actually, it was a fight you had with your stepfather before leaving that caused him to lose his ability to work. Your stepfather wanted to call the police to arrest you at that time, but he gave up after your mother persuaded him. After that, your mother had to work odd jobs while taking care of your stepfather, and she couldn't save up any more money. So that's how it was. Thinking back, I did go out all that time, or to be more precise, I had murderous intent. If it weren't for my mother stopping me, I would have killed him on the spot. I thought he would recover after a while, but I didn't expect him to lose his ability to work. Since the law for the protection of minors can't protect the victims, then as a perpetrator, I might as well enjoy some benefits. That was my real thought at the time. To be honest, my mother has never hit or scolded me since I was a child. It's just that she never said a word when that scumbag beat me. If it were me in her position back then, would there have been a better solution? I helped my mother stand up. Mom, you've aged. My mother cried. Time really spared no one. My mother was very beautiful in my memory when she was young. Even the last time I saw my mother, she was still very young. yet she has aged so much in just over a decade. That's not right. Suddenly realizing that the last time I saw my mother, she was only in her mid-30s, not much older than I am now. If it weren't for taking care of that scumbag, maybe my mother wouldn't have aged so quickly. How did she get through these years? Did I cause her trouble? I'll be heading back first. Why don't you come up and sit for a while? No need. Then let me walk you out. Are you sure you'll be okay? No problem. I'm in pretty good shape. See? Alright. Thank you. Hong Shen didn't speak and turned to leave. This child is really a good person. She's also a terminal patient. Ah? What illness? Heart failure. Mother didn't say anything more. Mom, have you eaten? Go have something to eat. Can't you cook there? I almost forgot. People from her generation aren't used to eating out. Can cook. Let's go buy some groceries. Jeez, what do you guys all think of this? Like, leave in the comments, what do you think of it? Son, what would you like to eat? Just something simple will do. That won't do. Not eating properly is bad for your health. The air became tense. Mom, you've come all this way. No need to go to so much trouble. Just make something simple. Don't bother with it. Mother took out a small notebook and started writing something. After buying groceries and returning home, Mother had cooked the meal. I tasted a bite of the dish. My chopsticks stopped. What's wrong? Doesn't it taste good? No, it's just that it's been so many years since I've tasted this, and you still remember what I'd like to eat as a child. How could I forget? I just don't know if you still like it now. I do. They're all my favorites. Mother finally showed a smile. Give up the lease on your apartment and come home with me. I'll take care of you for the rest of the days. No need. I'm not going back. Is it because you don't want to see your dad? Don't want to see that man? What would I go back for? That's his home, not mine. I'm quite happy with my life now. Saying these things against my will, life has always been nothing more than living under someone else's roof, leading a mediocre and busy existence. Even so, I don't want to burden myself with troubles in my last days. That scumbag has done her a favor, and I don't want to speak ill of him in front of her. There's an old traditional Chinese medicine practitioner in our hometown who specializes in treating cancer, with ancestral medical skills. Let me take you to see him when we get back. How old is he? Probably over 80. Cancer cells were discovered by a French doctor in 1912, and the earliest clinical treatment techniques didn't appear until after World War II. An 80-year-old traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, no matter how ancestral the medical skills, couldn't possibly treat something he knows nothing about, right? Mom, don't let yourself be fooled. Mother didn't speak again, and I realized I might have gone too far, at least in tone and manner. I served Mother some more food. Let me take you to the temple to burn some incense and have the master take a look at you. No need. Use the money to buy some lottery tickets instead. Do you believe in karma? I don't. He treated you so badly when you were young, and later you beat him into a cripple. That's his karma. Back then, our whole family's livelihood depended on him, and now I have to take care of him for the rest of his life. This is my karma. No, that doesn't... She married somebody in order to protect her family, right? I don't know, and just give her a good life, right? Because she did something against her will in order to protect her entire family. It's just wrong. Like, she's thinking of it all wrong. The sentence she didn't say out loud must be that getting a terminal illness is karma for beating him into a cripple. But does he really count as having done me a favor? I don't know. To me, at best, he did only a few favors for my mother, while I lived a life worse than that of pigs and dogs for those years. But if it weren't for his appearance, my mother would have committed suicide with the whole family, and I wouldn't have lived to today. It's not that. These seem reasonable, but they're just excuses of cause and effect fate for things that have already happened. Mother looked at me. You like that child, don't you? Huh? With a mouthful of food, I looked up at Mother. I'm saying you like that girl, don't you? Is that so? I don't know myself. I haven't thought about it that way. And besides, I've only known her for 3 days. Can you tell me how you met? Didn't she tell you? Mother shook her head. I told Mother everything from start to finish. I think she likes you too, otherwise she wouldn't do these things. Not necessarily. Maybe she's just grateful to me. Not necessarily. Maybe she's just grateful to me. What about you? You can tell her everything about yourself after just 3 days, yet you say you don't like her? Is it really so? How many more sets of 3 days do I have left? What's the point of talking about this now? The more so at this time, the more you should do what you want and need to do so as not to leave regrets. The words are correct, but I don't want to continue this topic anymore. Mom, it's not easy for you to come here. Is there any place you want to go? After we finish eating, I can take you out for a walk. I'm not going anywhere. I didn't come here for tourism. Then, when do you plan to go back? I'll book your ticket for you. Are you rushing me to leave? No, look, I don't even have a place to stay, and besides, what about that person if you don't go back? Are you really not coming back with me? I'm not coming back. Mother sighed and showed a very troubled expression. Then invite that child out for lunch at noon. I'll leave in the afternoon. What's wrong? You won't say anything embarrassing to her, will you? I just want to thank her. Okay. I dialed the phone. Hello? What's up? Do you have time for lunch? I'm inviting you to eat. Aren't you accompanying Auntie? It's her who wants to invite you, to show her gratitude. No need. What do you mean, no need? Do you not need to eat or not need to be thanked? Neither. Are you really not giving face? It's not like that. I haven't done anything. There's no need for thanks. She's leaving in the afternoon. Is it so urgent? Then you should spend some time with her. This is because you yourself didn't come. Don't say I didn't invite you. Keep things separate. Don't deny it. Alright. After hanging up the phone, I sighed with relief. You hear that? She's not coming. Then invite her out by yourself after I leave. After eating, my mother went to wash the dishes. The small notebook I took out when buying groceries was placed on the table. Is it an account book? It doesn't look like one. It seems quite old. If it were an account book, it should have been filled up long ago. I picked it up and flipped through it casually, and it was all about me. Today my son was born. The doctor said I can't have children anymore, but it's okay. Having you in this life is enough for me. My son has a high fever of 40 degrees. How I wish it was me who was sick. Today my son called me Mom. Mom doesn't ask for anything. I just hope you grow up healthy. On his 3rd birthday, I specially learned 2 dishes. You like them very much. I will make them for you whenever there's a chance. My son doesn't like coriander and mustard. Mom remembers. Grandma had a sudden cerebral hemorrhage. Her life was saved, but she can't take care of herself anymore, and Grandpa has been paralyzed for many years. What should I do? It feels like the sky's collapsed. Son, Mom is sorry for you. Today that person came to find me, saying he's willing to share the burden with me. Will he be good to my son? He doesn't like my son. Maybe over time their relationship will improve. I'm sorry. Mom has no choice. Today he hit my son. It's Mom's fault. I can't protect you. Will you hate me? I continued to flip through. My son hasn't been home for a year. I don't know how he's been these past years. I've tried contacting the school several times, but he doesn't respond to me. My son graduated and didn't come home. No one knows where he went. Today I finally got in touch with my son. He has gone to work in another city. He didn't tell me where. As long as he's safe, it's good. It's been 10 years since you've been home. What do you look like now? I don't know if you're eating well. Have you lost weight? Today I received a strange phone call saying my son has cancer. Knowing where my son is now, I hope I can go and see him. This person knows so much about my son. Even if she's a scammer, I still want to meet her. Finally, it was written when I was buying groceries just now. Finally saw my son. It's been so many years since I cooked for him. I don't know if he still likes those dishes. I don't know how many more times I can cook for him. After reading it all, I realized my mother was sitting behind me. Mom doesn't have your photos, just this. Open it and look wherever you want. I'm sorry I've wronged you over these years. Mom. I can't remember the last time I cried openly, let alone the last time I cried in my mother's arms. In places I can't see, she must have cried countless times. In the blink of an eye, it was already afternoon. My mother had to leave. Mom, take care of your health. I know. You take care too. If that person bullies you, tell me. I won't let him off. Go back. After saying that, my mother entered the station. Clearly saw my mother secretly wiping away tears. She just pretended to be strong in front of me. And isn't that what I do as well? I didn't call her because I knew she definitely wouldn't want me to see her like this.